This segment involves adding content to slides. So we'll be going over adding components through icons, another quick recap on text boxes, as well as creating and formatting tables. So we'll just get started here. What I have done is I just inserted several new slides based on the bullet option. The reason I choose the bullet option is because it has multiple options that allow you to insert information in a structured way. So the first one will be tables. So for example here, if we wanted this to be 10 and 10, and then we would choose, so the number of rows, number of columns, and then insert. From there you will see that there is a drop-down list. And if you hover over, you will get an expansion pane. This shows you all of your various options, and they're broken out by section: dark, medium, light, and what would be considered a best match for theme. Now please note that you can look at it in various ways. You can look at it with the first column option selected, in which case when you do that it will give you another option. So with that, it will show you that with the first column selected, you will have the dark background. You take that off and it no longer has that. You put it on, it shows it again. Same thing with banded rows. If you take the banded rows off, it doesn't have them. You can add banded columns. And so it just allows you to view things in a different way as a group, so you can see which options may be best for your needs on a case-by-case basis. So that is how you would add and modify your tables. If you wanted to change your table, you can simply select. So if we wanted banded rows, we didn't want a header column, and we didn't want a first column, this is what it would look like. Then from there, we can choose which option we like best. So we may want this option. Then we can also choose to add a header row, add a first column, add banded, etc. So it gives you quite a bit of flexibility to go through the different items within the tables. You also have the option to add charts and graphs. So we will insert a chart and graph, and we can choose whichever option we would prefer. So we may want to just do a stacked line, for example, and then that would just be placed in. Oops. So now we have the stacked line, but we still have the opportunity to change our layouts. So we have various layout options here depending on what might be best for our needs. We also have the option to change colors if that would be better for us. So we can change the colors here. For example, if we wanted a whole green theme, we could do that. We could come over here, select this, and change our font color. So for example, we can change everything to the dark default color. Whatever it is that we need to do, we have the opportunity to do it here. We also can go to here. We can add a background if we choose to. So if we wanted to have a light gray background, we can add that. We can change various components of colors, of level of transparency, if we want gradients, if we want a picture background, etc. And of course, we can edit our data. So we can select our data here. We can edit our data. We can delete data, etc. So all of those options are available to us. Next option that we have is for our SmartArt. So with the SmartArt, we can choose the options that would be best for our needs, and we do have some visuals here to help us along. So for example, if we wanted a cycle process, we would just select the one that we feel would be best for our needs, and then it will allow us an opportunity to type. And we can add more. We can delete items if we need to delete some, and everything will automatically adjust for us. If we decide that this is not the correct graphic for us, we can change our graphics simply by clicking on them. So you'll see that our graphics will change depending on what they are. In some cases that will not work just because it's not congruent with the type of image that we are dealing with. But if it is, it will look something like this, and then we can choose different looks to it. We can change our colors. We can even select and go to home and reduce our font size as a group. We can change the size of our image. We can duplicate our images and change the data. So if we wanted to do that, we could also do that. So these are just some practical tips on how you may want to work with your documents. So you may want to have 3 different colors, for example, representing different segments. So you could certainly do that. One could be the blue, one could be orange, for example, and maybe we want one that is green. And then you just go in on each one and change your data. The next thing that we are going to go over is pictures. So we can certainly insert pictures, and we'll just insert a small picture and show that it will show up in the center. We can also choose a larger picture, and that will show up differently. It will show up with all the space allowed, either vertically or horizontally, while still keeping the picture proportional. So for example, here the space allotted is 5 inches in height. So because it is 5 inches in height, that is how the image was brought in, for 5 inches of height. And so that is how you would work with an image. You can also bring in images from other locations, and that's what this folder is for. And we have the ability to bring in videos. So if we wanted to do that, we could do that as well. So we could come down here and we could choose this intro video. So when it comes in, it would just come in looking black, but then when you hit play, it would show. So it is recommended that whatever videos you have here would be small in file size and small in duration. Otherwise, your file could become excessively large, and if you're projecting on a underpowered machine, it could create some problems for you. So this is an overview of how to add various content to slides and add and create tables. The next segment will be about shapes and going over charts and graphs in a bit more detail. Thank you.